What's going on, guys? Welcome to week 6 of the Lost Woods Draft League. I'm Ronald, coach of the Waltham Watchhogs, and we are back. I took a break from power rankings last week just because I was very burned out, to say the least, along with work and also getting prepared for school. But we are back, and we have quite a bit to catch up on. We are in the home stretch now. We have 3 weeks left. Our playoff picture is starting to shape up. We have some teams that are almost guaranteed to be eliminated, and we have some teams that are borderline locked in to their spot. But either way, we are closing in on that stretch of finishing out the season. So we have quite a bit to cover. Um, Per usual, like I said, this is nothing personal. There are some bigger jumps because I'm accounting for 2 weeks worth of changes. I had the power rankings planned out for last week, so I had like week 5 rankings prepared. Decided not to do them, so I adjusted for week 6. But I'm gonna cover as much as I can. Um, and yeah, again, I apologize for not doing this any sooner, but my job just finished today. I go back to school in a few weeks, or less than 2 weeks actually, and between just prepping and it's been a bit of a slog for me. So, um, like usual, thank you for watching in advance, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. So I will see you there. Starting off, we have for our Miraidon week 5 and 6 power rankings. At number 14, we have the Northern Neuverns, coached by Liam at a previous rank of 14. These past 2 weeks took a 2-1 loss to Deserved Zamazentes and a 2-0 loss to the Curse Curry Stunfists. I apologize, the screen is a bit cramped, but we have our week 4 matchups on top and our week 5 matchups. This is kind of hard for me to just remember what they did, but I remember the Liam Penny game was a super close game. Liam took a clean game 1, Penny took a clean game 2, and then this game 3 was a super tight one where the Snorlax was just very close to getting that heat crash off to kill that P2. I think it was the Scrafty. It was a plus, I want to say a +6 or +5 Snorlax heat crash into a +1 Scrafty. Barely did not pick up the KO. And then against Curry, just Whimsicott did its thing, and then did not even bring the Whimsicott in game 2. Prepared for the adjustments and got metagrossed. So to evaluate Liam's teams, still leading into that Scarf Bolt and the Banded Bolt just for as much damage as possible. Decided to go with the special set in week 4, probably to get around any screens options with Infiltrator. Bringing just standard Revile set. Again, building a bit around the Gliscor. Spec Superior is a really cool idea because you've got Leaf Storms, which you're just gonna keep on constantly clicking at. Tinkaton, and then your Guac Berry, like your Belly Drum setup stuff. And then in week 5, went with your still typical Revile set, just no fake out, instead Ice Shard, and bringing the Sentret for redirection, a lefties, kind of like a bulky setup, Skeletors, which is not shop, and then also going with a Hyper Cutter Gliscor. And then I may have already said it, but you've got that Mian Shell as well. Um, yeah, not too much to think about with the teams here. I think there's a lot of like good stuff that came out of week 4. You took a game off Pengy, which is very impressive. No matter what the situation is. Some cool ideas. You've got your specs with Glare. You've got your belly drum setup. So you've got like your 2 setup mons, and then you still have to account for the Weavile and the Polt as well, along with the Tinkatongue support set. And then you've got in week 5 like your more like bulky hard hitters, but Curry just could get through that because there was a major fairy weakness here, and your 3 things that were very weak to fairy. could not kill the Whimsicott, and then the Whimsicott outlasted the Dragapult at the end. But um, there's not too much more to say. Liam's definitely had a bit of a down season. I think all of our bottom fours have had a bit of a down season. But it happens. We still got 3 weeks left. Can always go 3-5. Still stuff to play for. So look, I get to play Liam. I think week 8. So looking forward to that. And we'll see how it ends up finishing for them. At number 13, I have the Dianabo Golurks at a previous rank of 12. Took a 2-0 loss to the Seadras and then a 2-1 loss to the Zerg Zetas. Pretty similar teams both weeks. Both featured the Blaziken. Just some different sets. Both featured the Venusaur, the Torkoal, the Persian. And then we had a Crocodile Braviary against Pengi, and then a Noivern and Amoonguss against Colby. Colby decided to bring the Serena into the Sun team, and it put in a ton of work. The Ursaluna and Serena, even though they led, could get properly positioned to let Illumi's Volk, and while the Blaziken, with that Life Orb, did work, it just could not get through the final Mon. This something's supposed to die here. I'm not sure what it was. And then in their week 5 set, Patrick decided to bring the Specs Venusaur out. With Chlorophyll, that thing is very, very fast. Unfortunately, can get countered out by Altaria, which kind of sucks to see the Sun mode come into bat, but happens. And then you've got your just standard Braviary set, Cloaked Crocodile, and then just pretty normal stuff. I really like the week 4 red card. Just can't do anything about that. Really good disruption. But I think when it comes to the week 4, I think the fact that Colby was able to bring these Mons that should get destroyed by these fire grass types, like the Ursaluna, the Serena, Illumis, Quabble, and then just not being able to position, or at least Colby like out positioning, is super super unfortunate for Patrick. Um, and the following week, did take a game 2 win in which the Specs Venusaur did a ton of work because just could not stop it. Like you could try to stop it, but you just couldn't. But just trying to slow it down could not, and then you've got just not able to do enough in that final set. Um, yeah, I think we're kind of starting to see like standard stuff out of Patrick's teams, which is completely fine. Like I respect the teams in that sense. Um, Still very very scary stuff to play against. Um, but it's to the point that it might be a tad bit too late. I think maybe all of our 1-4s have a chance to sneak in, but it's almost impossible to do so considering 9 people are 3-2. You've got to win all your games and get a ton of help on even have a shot. So could be the end of the road season for Patrick, but still, even though the 1-4 record's still putting up 4 points, solid showing to start off in the league for their first season, and looking forward to see how they build these on next 3 weeks. At number 12, I've got the Waltham Watchhogs, which is coached by me. I took a multiple 2-0 losses to the Rockwell, the Good Guy Gudras, and Colby, the Portland Seadras. I definitely got very unlucky, in my opinion, in week 4 with the mouse hold. I think when it comes to week 5, I just got completely destroyed. There's no way around it. I just got walked over. So talking about the week 4 set, I think the Overquill was the value piece. It did most of the stuff I wanted to. Um, got the rain mode. I think the one thing I was way too worried about was a Scarf Como. That was revealed to be throat spray, but I did miss it, and it cost me in game two because I could have been in a super, super, super good position, and I did not let myself get in that position. Um, and then in game two, got a pretty lucky pair on the Como because I was lazy and did not check myself. There's you to put it work, and then you've got the mouse hold miss at the end that cleared up the game. Um, and then week five, I just got Colby kind of just destroyed me. Um, I wanted to get the side spam mode active, and then Rotom Fan turned out to be scarfed, so I just instantly died, um, which was really disappointing because I wanted to get Espeon out there. Um, I definitely think my week five team is a bit thrown around, and I think considering I went -7, I thought I went -6. Maybe I'm tripping. That makes sense why Colby just walked all over me, and it was not even close. But it is what it is. You're gonna have those down weeks. Bit of a down season for me, but it happens. I'm still gonna play out the rest of the season and try to win. Maybe not with like as much like care and caress in the world as like I would have if I maybe like 3-2 right now. But I'm happy where I ended up. Learned a lot about draft this season compared to my first few seasons because um, just like team preference and all that. But still looking forward to finishing the season out. Playing three good players, so we'll see how that turns out. But two 2-0 losses, I think when it comes to the bottom of the barrel, I'm the one shooting there. But it is what it is. We move on, and we will see how I bounce back against Penny next week. At number 11, I have the Ursa Rings, coached by Alex, at a previous rank of 8. Took a 2-0 loss to the Curse Curry Sunfish and a 2-1 loss to the Beantown Binnacles. I forgot what happened around Curry. I think Alex may have accidentally side hit himself. I'm not sure if it was that game. But super super unlucky stuff against Curry. Um, some cool sets like you've got your Life Orb Sneasler, your Goggles Gambit, because just showing Smeargle the respect it makes you have, and then standard Electabuzz, Cinderace after last week, um, still causing issues, and then just if we look over here, Annihilate and Belly Bolt just could not break through that Belly Bolt towards the end, which has been a theme that I think has surprised a lot of people um, for no reason. And then in game two, Alola Muck just adjusting for was coming, then Muck just being an absolute menace, finally bringing the Smeargle Muck out. Um, just causing a ton and ton of problems. And then in week five, you've got your more standard Sneasler set. Um, you've got your what I think was pretty cool. You have a weakness policy, Dragonite. You can pair that with Comfy for Prio Draining Kiss with multi-scale Dragonite, which is a cool idea. You can coaching the Dragonite, you can coaching the Comfy, set up the Comfy, um, and then you've got some cool techs on Electabuzz with Ice Punch for the Garchomp. Um, Game one, kind of just like walked by the Umbreon Magneset Garchomp. Um, I believe I don't remember the Clef Key set. I know the Clef Key set was interesting, but could not get through. Game two did enough work all around, and then game three brought the Comfy for the setup, and I believe a crit happened if I'm not mistaken. I don't 100% remember, um, but it happens, and you move on. I think Alex has had a very unlucky season. I think not some RNG, but also just like crits, Joy-Con drift, all that fun stuff. It's been a bit of an unlucky season for Alex, which as someone who's like kind of like seen his draft process, at least behind the scenes for most of his weeks. No, it's a bit disappointing knowing the work he puts in, but it happens sometimes. So we move on, pick ourselves up, and I know Alex is still try-harding the rest of the season. Will not go down without a fight. Um, Alex does has 6 points, so out of all the four or the 1-4s, if they can go 4-4 and get a bit of help, they might be able to sneak into the playoffs. But still to be seen. Ultimately, the four teams, the Ursaring, Golurks, Watchhogs, and Neuburns are shooting at the bottom of the barrel, if not already out. But we'll see what can happen. Anyone can really come back from this. And you never know what's gonna happen. Like this is still a scary roster. Like a lot of stuff can change within a very limited time, and we will see what happens with Alex within these next few weeks. At number 10, I have Area 151, coached by Corrosion at a previous rank of 4. Took two 2-1 losses, two on the Massachusetts Mareeps and the Slow Bros. Again, the slide because of the 2-week difference and everyone else winning. I think Corrosion's built some super interesting stuff these past few weeks. You brought a very surprising not too surprising Clearamila Palafin for Settlements, and then you've got a good selection with a wide lens Weezing with new gas, a quick guard dual wing beat Flamigo to get around Ludicolo, um, and then your Sinistra and Gudra. I know in the Keon game it was a very clean game one, and then game two just getting turn one correct with a quick guard and then a Scarf expanding force reveal, followed by a dual wing beam to Ludicolo, but unfortunately could not close out game two, and then game three, Polytoad Salamence just could not be stopped. Um, and then in week five, in game one, Baxcalibur kind of dominated. In game two, Incineroar Gardevoir did not need any help, and in game three, Baxcalibur dominated. Um, the surprise Dragon Dance just was not expected, and while you have your Throat Spray Gardevoir, just the alluring voice into Dazzling Gleam was not enough damage um, fast enough. The Pasho Berry did not really come out that much. Um, it may have, I honestly don't 100% know. Um, and then your Spec Scudra as well. Um, could not get too much going. Um, but it happens. I know Corrosion's a bit disappointed with how things have turned out, but they are a good enough team builder. They can turn it around. They have a hellhole of a schedule to finish the season out, though. So we'll see what happens with that. And Corrosion still have 3 weeks, still 2-3. Needs to win all three to be safe. Might be able to get into two, but very tight season for them, and we'll see how they end up closing out. It's still a scary team, and we'll see what happens. 9, we have the Slow Bros at a previous ranking of 7. Although taking a 2-1 loss to the Alexandria Arcanines, Ivan has bounced back with a 2-1 win over on Area 151. With our top 9, all teams are super close. Lot to play for, and these are where most of the jumbled rankings are going to come into play and have change. So although Ivan says it dropped 2 spots, really that's just based off of my week 5 ranking, and I think Ivan is slightly higher, but I'm just going to keep it as it is right now. So going over Ivan's matchups, sticking with the tried and true Dozogiri against Stout Gaming, in which some really interesting sets. So sticking with the Ninetales Beartic in both sets. One of them running a Citrus Berry Aurora Veil set, the other one running an Ability Shield Aurora Veil set to deal with Weezing. And then you're on Expert Bell Beartic. Deciding to go Water Veil against Stout, I think that's a really cool idea. You're not too worried any setups, and you can get around any Drifblim Will-O-Wisps that could come out. Um, and then just your banded Meowstic and your specs Rabombi just to do as much damage as possible. Could not pick up a KO in game one, had Arena in that side spam mode, kind of just took a chunk. And even with the AV Dozo, I feel like although the special defense is very good here, I think if I'm being completely honest, a Leftovers Protect set would have probably been better. Of course, you might have to be worried about Encore. I don't know if anything gets Encore on Stout's team, but there's always a shot. Um, uh, Otherwise, some pretty cool stuff. I think running the quad move for Bombi instead of a Tailwind is a pretty neat idea. Especially since you're going against Driplim. Not too many crazy stuff. This week 5 set is where everything gets crazy. Yes, you have your ability shield. You've got your D-Dance, Bax Caliber, Tail Whip Pachirisu, which is a super cool idea. And then well, no electric move Palmot. And then I think the biggest tech here is this Specs Meowscarada. Meowscarada got one tapped and did no work in the game. In fact, it was mainly his Bax Caliber. But I think the idea of the set, mainly this Aura Sphere to get through the Hisuian Gudra, is a really cool idea. Then you've got Leaf Storm, Dark Pulse. I even wonder, even if it was negative, if Flower Trick was a better move than Leaf Storm, but Ivan knows that better than me. In this game or week 5 set, the Bax Caliber just put in so much work. Corrosion could not get through it. Bax going +6 in the entire 3-game set is absolutely crazy. While there's a hiccup against the Instant Gardevoir in game 2, game 3 just really went to town, and Ivan is a team that, well, people did not like it. He's really shown that he can play very well with this team, and he's got a very interesting schedule to close out the league. He currently sits at the top of the 3-2s, sitting at 10 points, which is a huge buffer. Surprisingly, he's a -2, but still holds that 10 points, which is much more important. So he has the biggest buffer out of any of the 3-2s, and hopefully will continue to push through and make a playoff spot. So he's sitting at number 9, but again, all of these top 9 teams can be very interchangeable with one another, and it's just really who's hot and who's not. And although he wasn't hot in week 4, Ivan is heating up and will continue to for the rest of the season. At number 8, I have the Portland Seadras at a previous rank of 13. Took multiple 2-0 wins against Gyanaba Golix and the Waltham Watchhogs. Colby has come into this league and reinvented this team very well in a very good set against Padrick and then a dominant set against me. I was looking, went with quite a few berries against Padrick, going for the Koba Berry on the Illumies, and then your Chardy Berry to get around this Rhyperior that did not show up. And then just bringing Heat Wave, Quiver Dance for Sun Abuse, deciding to go with a AV Serena, even though he's running into a very strong Sun team. And then just some other cool, like no Trick Room gets up with Imprison Trick Room Dusclops. Still deciding to run with a Quaquaval in the Sun, which still could put in work. And then just bringing Rain Dance Illumis Charm to lower any attack. This Illumis has been a huge pain for a lot of people, myself included. Colby decided to bring a Cloak Illumis against me, but I think the biggest detriment to my team was this Scarfed Rotom Fan and this Bullet Seed, or this Loaded Dice Bullet Seed Serena, which just did so much work. I didn't know it in game 1 that Rotom Fan was scarfed. Colby picked up some pretty clean KOs. I had one more KO here, but that doesn't really matter. I'm basically eliminated at this point. And then just a very dominant game 2 with the Rotom Fan revealing its Scarf with Electro Web and Serena getting the knockoff into the Espeon, just completely rolled the game and finished it out strong for Colby. Um, not too much I could do in that case. Um, it is what it is. And then also some cool stuff going with the you have your Aqua Step to get the speed up, followed by Endeavor. Just super good on Quavel. Yeah, super solid weeks for Colby. Colby is on a 3-game heater right now. We'll look to continue to pick it up, and he is cruising right now and hoping to take a team that was 0-2 and sneak into the playoffs. So very strong showings, and we'll see where he ends up. At number 7, I have the Beantown Binnacles at a previous ranking of 6. Took a 2-0 loss to the Boston Blackjacks and then a 2-1 win over the Ursaring. Theo has had a knack for building some really interesting teams. So these are honestly kind of fun to look at. You got your Keyberry on Arboliva, which I honestly have no clue what it does, considering I also haven't basically played this game at all. Super, which is your physical attack going up after a receiving a hit, which is a cool idea. You've got your triple kick scarf, which I rant about triple axle. I will rant about triple kick. It's a bad move. You've got your Azumarill with your just Mystic Water huge power. Really interesting Sunny Day Garchomp set to pair with a Specs Explosion, and then the banded Kilowattrel, which I can see the idea. The idea and theory behind it is you want to one tap Rillaboom as a surprise because you're able to. But in all honesty, Rillaboom did not come, and it's a bit of an overcook in this case. As with I think the Helping Hand Scarf hit on top, slight overcook, but is what it is. In game 1, only hitting 2 of those triple kicks really hurt. And then just could not get through the Slow King in game 1 and the Prim in game 2. Jake played really good defensively. And then in week 5, bringing some more standard stuff with your Garchomp, your Cloaked Kilowattrel, and then also going with a Focus Sash on Metachamp and a getting the Umbreon going. And then your unique thing having a Shed Shell to get around the Gothitelle, which I think Alex has been preferring to run competitive, but in this case it may have been Shadow Tag, which it was not. It was Frisk. But still running the double screens with Shed Shell, very good options. Game 1 got the Umbreon going, game 2 got nothing going, and game 3 Klefki picking up 3 kills is very huge for the ability to close out the game against that Comfy. So Theo looking up, still in the mix with everyone else. Again, definitely a player that has been building hit or miss every week. Week 4 was a miss, week 5 was a hit. And Theo will be playing against Keon next week, which will be a very cool. I think out of everyone this season, I think Theo's been my favorite team builder to watch because they've been the one that has I think the most reactive team that people have to respect a lot more than they think. And Theo's just willing to build a ton of crazy stuff every week. So we'll see how that pans out for them and as they continue on throughout the season. And at number 6, we have the Massachusetts Mareeps at a previous ranking of 3. Took a 2-1 win over Area 151 and then a 2-0 loss against the Boston Blackjacks. So against Corrosion, very unfortunate game 1. Just looking at the team, decided to go with the Ability Sheep Politoed, Splash Plate Ludicolo, Lorb Salamence special set and an Insect Plate on Scizor, followed by a Power Glamora and Gallade. Decided to bring the rain in the back. Ludicolo would pick up a kill, but the Palafin was too much to handle. And then game two just got out predicted on turn one. Did not expect Scarf Gardevoir. Um, but clawed his way back with Politoed, and then in game three just made the perfect adjustment, bringing Salamence to the front. I think there may have been a crit or a miss involved, but just the adjustments just really, really took it. And then week five, a bit of a rough time against Jake, in which Scarf Prim just tore through Keon's entire team. Um, cool techs on this team though. You decide to bring a water absorbed Politoed with Scarf, which I found interesting. I can see the appeal not wanting to boost Prim, but I feel like that Muddy Water Hydro Pump boosted damage is still very, very good. Um, but then again, you want to pair with the Flamethrower on Salamence, which could have been a Hurricane for Air Slash, but decided to run this. You've got your Specs and DD with Shadow Ball, Terror Blast, Sustaining Force, another just normal type move for that stab bonus. Um, Acid Spray, Back Mortar, Scarf Blade, Room Service, Mimikyu. But Jake just kind of tore through this entire team. This Sneasel's been a great trade for Jake on just using it correctly. The Prim just did so much work in game one and two that it just tore through Keon. And while Keon like basically completely adjusted his game plan between the two games, there was still just nothing that he could do or get going. But it happens. Jake had a very, very well prep. I think Keon was running on a bit limited prep, but he's been worried about helping people with Worlds. Not that big of a deal. Still 3-2, still able to close out the season strong, and we'll see how he bounces back in his next coming weeks. At number 5, I have the Boston Blackjacks in the previous rank of 11. Two big 2-0 wins against the Beantown Binnacles and the Massachusetts Mareeps. And it's really been built upon the back of this Sneasel trade, in which I believe that Jake won that trade, Sneasel for Umbreon, and shown very, very quickly. Running pretty standard sets on both these weeks. Starting off on week 4, running this Akka Bear Fire Resist, a Cloak Slowbro to get up that Trick Room, and then Intimidate Ability Shield Arcanine. And then just respecting the Wheezing. I think that was a mistake. I believe Jake and Corrosion played, if I'm not mistaken. And Jake did not respect the Wheezing. This week, showing major respect to the Wheezing with the Ability Shield. Not running Guts, instead of running Iron Fist on the Conk. Just very, very smart plays here, and just, even though the Wheezing did not come, that respect, I think, just made this matchup so much more bearable if it did come. Throwing Psychic on the Prim is a very, very good adjustment to pair with the Moonblast, and then just standard stuff all around. And again, the Prim and the Slowking, just Theo not expecting the Slowking to come out in game 1 as hard as it did with that Trick Room to get that mode going with the Cloak, and then in game 2, just wanting to play a bit more aggressive. Could not. I don't even think the Cloak came out. I think what I'm thinking of is the it was a knockoff into Hyflosion, and then Triple Kick missing the Sneasler on the third try just won Jake the game on the spot. So a bit lucky there, but game 2 just that Prim and Sneasler combination is just so good. Looking to week 5, this Scarf Prim just absolutely dominated. Nothing more to say about that. The Prim Sneasler again, just with that fake out and knockoff, I think got the turn 1 insanely correct by clicking knockoff into the Indeedee switch in, followed by the Hyper Voice, just damage. Nothing that could be done against it. Did not even need the Corviknight, um, and then which brought the mirror armor for the Salamence, Intimidate, which was a special set, so it wasn't that big of a deal, and then just bringing the Electivire, real Goodra to clean up. I think one thing that Jake's been doing a bit better is not using the Electivire as much. I think Jake's issue with the Electivire has been trying to use it like Electabuzz, and I think Jake's shown that they're willing to get a bit more aggressive with it with the Wild Charge with the Thunder Wave, and I think it picked up a kill to here. And while that Follow Me still works and is threatening, it's been working a lot better um, as well. But Jake is 0-2 to 3-2. Very, very good bounce back. Riding a bunch of momentum. Is delaying his matchup for next week because of Worlds, but looking forward to seeing how he continues to build in a very big game against Ivan. At number 4, I have the Cursed Curry Stunfish at a previous ranking of 10. Curry is keeping up their trend with 2-0s only, taking a 2-0 wins versus the Ursaring and the Northern Noivern. This dude just brings a crazy team every week, and I love it. Looking at Alex's matchup, this Smeargle just being able to do anything in both games. One week you've got a fake out Burning Bulwark Follow Me coaching set, which you can coaching the Annihilate, coaching the Staraptor, coaching the Muck, just tons and tons of coaching all around. And that, or you can just click Follow Me. Paired with the Giraffe rig coming out. I can't believe I just said that Pokemon. Running on beat up stuff for the Annihilate, Twin Beam to get around any Sneasler Sash, and then Trick Room and Ally Switch. And then this Belly Bolt has been in both leagues just a absolute tear. With the Assault Vest, Parabolic Charge, running T-Bolt Water Shot, or Water Pulse this week, to hit that Cinderace. Then just your standard lefties Annihilate. And then deciding to bring out the Minimize Muck, which, yeah. Draft Annihilate duo in game 1. Annihilate did damage, Belly Bolt cleaned it up. And in game 2, this Muck just went off. Knockoff Drain Punch just kept this thing alive with the Black Sludge. Running that double lefties on the team, very, very, very strong. And then in week 5, how do you start out the game? Just bring out a Hisuian Zoroark. With that Hyper Voice, Shadow Ball, Flamethrower, Ice Wind, and then also running the Banded Ape. So you could just lead Ape Zoroark, and then just click Icy Wind, and then either a U-turn or a Shadow Claw. It really depends on what the leads were. But in all reality, it was this Whimsicott that did a ton and ton of work in that game, picking up all 4 KOs. And then in game 2, just going to the Smeargle Muck, and then bringing Zoroark in the back, which didn't do too much, but it was this Metagross that really cleaned everything up. And again, just looking at Curry's team, decided to go Baneful Bunker, Spore, Follow Me, Lunar Blessing this week. Like, this guy is bringing everything, every single week, and just you can't expect anything out of Curry because he's gonna do something you don't expect. 2 very, very clean wins has moved him up quite a few spots for me. And he just continues to push. I'm at the top of my 3-2s right now. He still has a difficult schedule to end up the season, but Curry is looking up, and I'm looking forward to see how he builds these last few weeks to clinch his playoffs. Moving on to number 3, the start of our 4-1s, we have the Good Guy Goodras at a previous rank of 1. Took a 2-0 win versus the Watchhogs and a 2-1 win over the Arcanines. Looking at the team, we don't have Rockwell's official paste right now, so we're just working with this team preview. Um, Looking at the week 4, although it was a 2-0 win, it was a 2-0 win off of a pop ball miss, which I'm definitely not salty that happens. 2-0 is a 2-0, but still just showing the amount of stuff this team can do. Pretty much the standard Magmar set he's been running, except it's Fire Spin. Um, this Ursaluna Yon Mega just continues to be crazy. Decided to go with the Prankster Grim that did not show up this week, and then the special Komo, and then even the Scarf Orangaroo, which it did not show up, but still a super unique mon. Um, where it can Thunderbolt to get that Pelly or Barraskewda down fast. It can just keep on spamming Yawn. It can Trick, and then Scary Face to get speed control. No Trick Room on this team this week. Did not need it nonetheless, even though it looks pretty similar. Um, Ursaluna Yon Mega just cleaned out game 1. Como got a crit in game 1 as well, which did not matter too much, but still accelerated the pace for Rockwell. And then in game 2, the Yon Mega just barely outlasting that Mousehold. Week 5 saw Rockwell took his first real loss. Super cool team with Bandit Grim. But some slight overcooks. I believe it was Moxie Gyarados. The Psychic Casita Rangaroo was a really cool tech. Deciding to go Sash Yon Mega. Um, Although if we I think the Sash is an interesting call because to bring the Sash you have to think about the Tyranitar. If the Tyranitar didn't come, it's a great idea, but because it did come, it's just taking that chip every turn, which kind of nullifies the Sash. I think the same can be said about Stouts on Delphox, but the Banded Grimmsnarl just put in a ton of game 1 work. With I believe it was False Surrender, Spirit Break, Sucker, and one other move. Um, and then just this entire team put in a ton of work. The Tyranitar did a ton of damage nonetheless, which I think Rockwell really wanted to intimidate Gyarados here because it was the Life Orb set. Game 2 just could not get through the Delphox and Rotom at the end. And then in game 3 just got put in a position in which the Grimmsnarl was clicking Sucker Punch in Psychic Terrain and then just got disabled and had to struggle. So Rockwell took his first loss of the season, but still in a very good spot. Rockwell currently stands still in first place at 13 points at a plus 20, which is 3 points better than the person with the second highest points, and then plus 13 better than the player with the second highest KD. So there's not too much that can really go wrong with Rockwell right now, but he's still going to want to finish out the season as strong as he possibly can. So looking forward to see. He's in. I want to say he's moved to NorCal now, so he's probably going to actually have time to think about his matchups. But looking forward to see how he clinches out the rest of the season. At number 2, I have the Alexandria Arcanines at a previous ranking of 5. Stout took a 2-1 win against the Slowbros and the Good Guy Gudras, taking down the podcast. This team has really come into its own. The Psychic Seed Driplim has been very consistently as the center point of this team. So against Ivan, you've got your eject button Indeedee, which has been very good for momentum. You brought a Sash Delphox, and then just this Hatterene and T-Tar that's just built to get through the Dundozo stuff, and then the Milotic as well to help out with that. Game 1 just got Hatterene going. Game 2 could not get through the Dozo quick enough, but in Game 3 got through the Dozo and the Rabombi fast enough with Driplim and Indeedee with the this says Tyranitar Hariyama. This team didn't have Hariyama. Am I tripping? I might have the wrong team sheet, which would be very funny and embarrassing at the same time. We will check that real quick. No, so something is weird here. The Hariyama may have come Maybe the Delphox didn't come and the Hariyama did come. Honestly, don't know. I don't remember the set. But oh well. But still, the Drifblim put in enough work. Could Wisp could get just I don't think Wisp worked, but just Sunny Day to just slow the anything the Dozo wanted to do. Really worked out. And then just could get through everything. And then in week 5 against Rockwell, just bringing a ton of the right sets. Took pretty a loss in game 1 because that Grimmsnarl just you brought a ton of Pokemon that were weak to that false surrender, which did a number on the Delphox and DD Drifblim. But in game 2, adjusting to lead that T-Tar, knowing that the Gyarados is an Intimidate, lead that Rotom, knowing that that thing can hit a lot of what Rockwell wants to bring. And then just being able to clean up with that side spam mode in the back. And then in game 3, being able to identify the T-Tar Drifblim as the correct lead, to have that disable, and then skill swap if you want to skill swap the Ursaluna, which I don't know if they did, but still works nonetheless. And then being able to clean up with the Indeedee, and then when it was just Sucker Punch into a Levitate Rotom Mo, just being able to disable with the Drifblim, and then also just click Nasty Plot into the Rotom so it couldn't get hit by Sucker, getting rid of the Leaf Storm debuffs. Very, very huge finish. And then Stout just cleans it all up. Like I said, the Nasty Plot on the Rotom Mo is a really, really good idea. The Life Orb T-Tar just brought it, and it just punished Rockwell for bringing that Gyarados. Still interesting seeing the Delphox and the T-Tar with the Sash work next to each other, but it worked out anyways. And then, unfortunately, did not get to see it, but a Howl Last Respects Ally Switch set on the Houndstone is super, super cool. But especially against this Sucker Punch Grim was not necessary and probably smart that was not brought. Also considering it couldn't hit the Ursaluna. I think Ursaluna also not being able to hit on Drifblim was a huge asset to Stout, in which because there was no throat chop brought on Rockwell's side, the Drifblim was in the clear on that mod. But super super clutch week for Stout to pick up a win, sitting at 4-1 now, very comfortable, and has just 3 matchups to go in the season, all of which are against super super good players, so no one can feel safe. But we'll see how Stout continues to finish out the season and how he ends off, and then hopefully prepares for the playoffs. And at number 1, I have the Zord Zamazentas at a previous ranking of 2. Took 2-1 wins over the Northern Neuburns and the Gyanabo Golurks. Pengi has just played very, very consistently well all season. His only loss has been a team sheet error at the same time, so still keeping everything good and going, and bringing very, very good sets each week. Against Liam, you knew the Moringa Berry was going to show up at some point. Deciding to bring the Moringa Berry on the Chestnut, running an Iron Defense, Body Press, Crunch Synthesis set to keep it just constantly alive. Very, very interesting moves on the Goldengo, running Scarf Sidekick, and then a Screens Clefable set. And then also getting the Hippowdon in for Ice Fang. Deciding to run Stockpile with it as well. It's super, super cool. And then a Shadow Ball Ice Beam set on the P2. And then bulk up Scrafty. All these stuff were super, super cool. Liam took game 1. Semi-cleanly. I honestly forgot the match, how it happened. On game 2, adjusting to bring the Chestnut into the matchup was very, very good because they could get that Iron Defense set up and then just start body pressing everything. And then Scrafty did plenty of damage. And then in game 3, that Scrafty being able to live that Snorlax Heat Crash was super, super huge because could Drain Punch all that health back up with the +1 boost, and then just was able to survive the rest of the game and just close it out. And then in week 5 against Padrick, Pengi has really shown that they have liked this banded Fletchlander. which came in very, very cool this week. Because the Gale Wings with against the Venusaur, being able to run dual wing beat to just one tap the Venusaur, one tap the Blaziken, super super cool ideas. Still have the Tailwind, and then bring the Altaria out just to make sure that no weather could go up if they did not want it to. Um, and then bringing the Misty Terrain to protect anything from getting spored or statused. I think the really interesting duo this week was the Mold Breaker Excadrill, because with the Mold Breaker Excadrill, you couldn't really spam Earthquake next to the Rotom, because Mold Breaker, and then also bring the Extra Bell on Scrafty is a super super interesting idea, but worked. Um, I think my favorite set is still this Fletchlander because it does so much unexpected damage that's still cracked. And just has consistently worked out super, super well for whatever Pengy has been trying to do. Um, and yeah, Pengy just has been super consistent all season, although both these games are 3 game sets, has continued to play extremely well and will continue to improve. So Pengy takes our top spot at number 1. I get to play Pengy next week because Pengy's at Worlds right now, so wishing him luck, and we will see how everything finishes up. So that is where we stand for our Week 6 rankings. We have the Zerg Centers, followed by Dan, Rockwell, Curry, Jake, Keon, Theo, Colby, Ivan, Corrosion, Alex, myself, Patrick, and Liam. A lot of changes this week just because of the 2 week gap, but the playoff picture will start to come together. Important matchups this week are all playoff implications. A lot of these teams looking to stay alive. A lot of these teams looking to secure their spot. Our highlighted ones are the number 6 Massachusetts Mareeps facing the number 7 Beantown Binnacles, the number 9 Slowbros taking on the number 5 Boston Blackjacks, and the number 2 Alexandria Arcanines, who on a streak just knocked off Rockwell, taking on the number 8 Portland Seadras, who are on a 3 game winning streak of their own. Other matches include the number 11 Ursaring versus the number 14 Northern Noivern, number 13 Gyondo Golers versus number 4 Curse Curry Stunfists, the number 12 Waltham Watchhogs against the number 1 Zerg Somcentas, and the number 3 Good Guy Goodgers taking on the number 10 Area 151. All of these are games with implications in mind, but these 3 are just super, super important. And that's where we end up. I apologize again for the delayed uploads. I will try to get back on top of stuff next week, although it might be hard. But I will see you guys next time. So thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.